Already, it's May 17th. The last time I did this, I got some threats. That being said, today is the International Day against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. This day came into effect. I have no idea when this day came into effect, but I know that the change started beginning in a societal sense in the 90s. And I'm not sure where I sit on the spectrum. However, I do like to dress a little differently and put on some makeup from time to time. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm trying to grow my hair so that, yeah. Anyway, so today this may come as a surprise to some people, but if you've been on my Instagram, maybe not, which I don't manage very frequently. Anyways, I'm gonna do some makeup. I have some makeup around me, and I would have to clean all of this up later because, hold on, there's some messages. Oh, this is my shirt, by the way. Yeah, I have to clean all of this up later on because I live with my parents and they're pretty conservative, let's put it that way. So, yeah, and yeah. What do I have? So I have some foundation. CoverGirl. This looks like one of the YouTube videos where, well, whatever. I also have some, I think this powder, I have no idea what I'm doing here. This powder goes on top of the foundation. I have some blush on. And I have some eyeshadow, some mascara. And I have, this is I think it's kind of like it's a lip stain. And then I have lip gloss. There's other stuff too. There's lipsticks and nail polish, but they're a little like it's. I gotta get some lighter colors for the spring/summer. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think what do you do with the? I guess you shake it first. And then you take a little bit on the back of your hand or wherever. Looks weird, but whatever. And then you apply it here, I think. It's to make your cheekbones appear higher than they are. Like that, something going on, right? Yeah, while I'm doing this, like, I've always been pretty open-minded. And, you know what, but let's be super honest about this. When I first came to Canada, I wasn't like 100% open-minded about things, but it didn't take me like the next 10 years to change my mind about certain things. Within like the first couple of years, I was going to queer events and just like basically keep an open mind. I mean, I ended up being in a heterosexual, all the relations I've been in are heterosexual, and that's from a sexuality perspective. But from a gender perspective, I grew up with like my sister used to read a lot of Vogue and other fashion magazines, so I used to read them too. And I like, without going into all the details, I think the whole, I'm not gonna put too much foundation because I'm not really going anywhere. The whole notion of gender and sexuality, I think, I'm not sure, definitely gender, I think it's very, I'm gonna put on some of this foundation. The whole notion of gender is, I think, it's whatever society enforces, right? So, like, if you were living like 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, and you're dressing up a certain way, that, I mean, that's a bad example. But what I'm saying is, if society doesn't, I think it's mostly enforced through different means. You know, it depends on which culture you live in. Unfortunately, I don't want to start in this sense. Unfortunately, in some cultures, really bad things can happen to somebody who is not heterosexual or just dresses a certain way that's a little different. And for me, it's not so much that I'm doing what I'm doing in defiance. Maybe a little bit. I don't know what percentage. Like, you know, it's 30%, 40%. I think people should just do. So I'm just gonna put on some blush on now. People should do whatever they want to do, as long as they're not hurting anyone, and it's obviously legal, ethical, moral. But this is where the problem starts. The whole question around morality is something that is quite different in different cultures. But I also don't believe or think that this is something that we're gonna see a breakthrough in with force being applied, or, you know, it's more so what Richard Tafel talks about in 5 Steps to Systems Change. I'm doing makeup and still doing just systems thinking. But yeah, basically, it's gonna come from building empathetic bond. I have these brushes, by the way, which I have no, like, I don't think I've ever used them, because I don't have a lot of powdery stuff other than this and this and the eyeshadow. So I guess I'm just supposed to put some of the foundation here too, to make my beard appear less beardy. But yeah, man, I think just life is short. Just chill out. You know what I mean? This is a very different topic. I think a lot of the world's problems could be solved if, I think a lot of people just suppress what they really want to be deep down inside, and they can't do it because of cultural or societal reasons. I don't want to put on too much. And that could be the cause of a lot of problems. This is obviously not a scientific assessment or statement, but what am I saying? It's I think there could be something to it. Somebody's willing to teach me all this. I'm very willing to learn. I just don't have. I can't sit and watch like those tutorials on the internet. I guess if I'm my own place, I would do this a lot more often. But that's another question, which I don't want to talk about right now. I actually like doing this. I like looking good, pretty. I don't really ascribe to the whole notion of words being used to describe myself in a masculine sense. Girly men can do amazing things. And yeah, okay, so that was a little bit of eyeshadow. I'm gonna comb my eyebrows. I used to get my eyebrows done, but I stopped, I guess, because of COVID. Yeah, I'm just gonna comb. I think that's a comb. What's the other one? Yeah, it's a liner. I think that's how you comb them. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I think the world would be a lot better place if people would just mind their own business and stop telling people who to love and what to dress up like and whether they are of this or that kind, gender, sexuality, ethnicity. Just mind your own business, man. When I did this last time, I actually got threats. I can't say by whom, but I sent them a very stern message back. I don't talk to that person anymore, saying don't do that, because if you do this again, then I would have to take legal action. So yeah. Anyways, I got some other messages too, which I'm not going to talk about. Okay, this is lip stain. I have no idea which this is. I really like this because I just put on a little bit sometimes, and it makes my lips a little bit vibrant. Or I have no idea how you do this. I think you're supposed to put dots. Oh, I think I put too much. In terms of insecurities, I gotta get my teeth fixed because with age, they're kind of going all over the place. So that's something on my list to do. I'm not very insecure about my body, but there are some things I just need to fix, like my teeth. And I really don't like my hair turning white because I take good care of myself, and this is just because of cellular stuff happening in my body, which I don't think I have control over. I don't have access to those gene therapies that they're doing. And most of them are clinical trials anyway, so I don't want like another limb growing out from somewhere just because I don't want my. Anyway, that's a bad joke. No. I don't think anything horrible like that can happen with gene therapy. That's a really bad joke. Because I was looking at frogs. Okay. I'll stop with the weird jokes. What is my overall philosophy on all of this? Gender, sexuality. I'd say we all need somebody to love, and if you have found somebody who loves you, and you love them genuinely, and they genuinely love you back, there's nothing more precious in this world. So you are very lucky. So hold on to that person, and work on yourself. Just build your future together. Because that is. I don't have a mirror right now, so this is not gonna be a very clean job. I have some lip gloss. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't really know how you do the whole lineup, like the lip line. Because that is lip stain. So do you use an eyeline to model this? I have no idea. Maybe somebody can help me with that. I do have this eyeliner. Oh no, it is a lip contouring. Yeah, I think that is the essence of my entire philosophy on this. If you have found somebody to love and they love you, then that's the most precious thing in the world. There's nothing, other than obviously the family, man. Family. And families obviously have different types, different roles in the family, and love is of different types. So, with regards to the topic, I don't ascribe to the whole traditional, having grown up in Pakistan and then Canada. It's the two countries I've grown up in. I don't necessarily ascribe to a particular way of thinking. I don't want to do the whole thing. I'm wearing shorts right now, so but this is how I look right now. I think I look pretty good, and I feel good. I feel like this is who I am, and I like dressing up like this, and I don't. If you are somebody I have talked to in the past, and you don't like the way I dress or behave, then if you don't want to talk to me about that in an empathetic manner, in a rational manner, then I really don't have time or the desire or the inclination to argue with you. So please do not send me weird messages. Definitely don't send me threatening messages. That being said, and to shift to what I was going back to, I still look up, things. I don't consider myself trans or what do I consider myself? I think I would be curious, and I would be I wouldn't want to limit my prospects of finding a really amazing person just because they are of a certain gender or sexuality, and so I think that succinctly describes what my way of thinking is. I still believe that I'm like a lot more interested in being in a relationship, or I think when it comes to attraction, I find somebody who is female or at least or trans. I would be okay. I would be okay in a relationship like that. I don't think I'm like gay in like a in a like like I think this is all a spectrum. So that's one thing I wanted to share, because it's been difficult. I was in a heterosexual relationship for almost a decade, and I have a child, which I'm truly obviously grateful for. Just gonna minimize this screen on my secondary monitor. And it's been a challenge, I guess, in post separation, going into the divorce sense, because of all of these questions which have been hard to answer without going into all the details. And this is who I am. I don't care what you think, whoever you are. I'm looking to make friends who are okay with me being like this. I'm looking for allies. And I am a strong ally, obviously. This is about human rights. And speaking of which, things are pretty bad. I live in Canada, and things are really bad in other parts of the world. Interesting. I was, from time to time, I do look up like how the human rights situation is for individuals who are trans in another part of the world. I don't think I would fit exactly in the domain of transgender, like it's a label, right? But I would I think I'm more in the kind of like dress differently category. I don't have any desire to make any significant changes to my body, at least not in a surgical sense. But if I could, I think like dress up however I wanted on a day-to-day basis, I would definitely would. And I was talking about human rights, and I was talking about how I grew up in Pakistan and also Saudi Arabia a little bit as a kid. Um, and I came to Canada in my late teens. Um, I must say before that I don't want to. I'm not saying this to piss anyone off. I just obviously there's a lot more to be done for gay and transgender rights, and just people like me who don't necessarily fit in a one of the traditional somewhat binary role, heterosexual or otherwise, because it's really such a broad spectrum. And um, I think things are very difficult for individuals who are transgender. Uh, this is a huge problem in our global society, whereby you can die if you're gay or trans. You can get killed. Uh, this is something that happens every year. In fact, recently somebody was killed in Iran. There's this guy who got killed because he was gay. Uh, so, so there's a lot of darkness in our on our planet, and that's not just in the Middle East or in Iran or Pakistan. I think this is everywhere, and even in North America, there's still obviously a lot of homophobia. But again, like I said, I don't think waging a all-out offensive against something like that is. I don't think that's a good strategy, because it's just going to make whoever has those kind of beliefs to double down on their belief system, which is something that has been documented quite extensively. So, with regards to the other human rights, the other thing is, like, a lot of folks who are trans, because the discrimination is so extreme that this hurts individuals who are like from an economic standpoint, because being labeled as somebody who is different in not a depends which culture we're talking about. That may limit somebody's economic prospects. So I've noticed, particularly in South Asia, it's even when I was growing up as a kid, like and we're talking about spectrums here. So in South Asia, there's like hijras, basically HIJRA. We saw them as kids growing up, and the hijras would come during somehow they knew where the wedding was happening and a kid was born, so they would come and they would expect some alms or donations to be made to them. They would sing some songs, but there's this taboo of treating hijras as something inferior, which I'm not gonna talk a lot about right now, but it's just a perception thing. It's and I think it's damaging to that perception is actually really damaging, because it forces hijras or people who are trans into one of the two areas. They can either go begging on the streets, or they can go into sex trade, or both. So they don't really have. They're not. It's not for a lot of folks who are not in the heterosexual category. It's not, or like male or female category. So there's sexuality and gender in random order. It's one of the two paths. So more recently, I heard of this. There's actually success stories too, but few and far in between, I would say. I forget the name of the woman, but she's from Karachi. She's originally from Lahore, I believe, or somewhere in Punjab, Pakistan, and born as a male and transitioned to becoming a female. Like, I don't go and look at the details extensively, because transgender is of different types: pre-op, non-op, um, pre-post, and then non-op. So I don't get into the details, but I would say the person is whoever they say they are. And you can look at the clinical evidence, and that's another issue. It looks like there are changes to the brain with regards to how the person perceives themselves with regards to their overall identity. So when they're like, so if that kind of stuff is happening in the brain, then evidence is basically what I'm talking about. So I'm happy to discuss that with anyone who may be interested, in a reasonable manner, a respectable, reasonable manner. But yeah, so this lady was begging in the streets in some part of Pakistan, I forget where. Then she took night classes, and she this is becoming okay. Stuff doesn't look bad. She took night classes, and she studied law, and now she is practicing law in Karachi, I believe, Pakistan. And I think that's a great success story. I couldn't find a contact information for this person, but I was like, hey, if you need any help, you need a website, you want to run your ideas by me, or us, or if you need any help at all on the entrepreneurial side of things, or you just want to talk, like, what has it been like for you? What has your journey been like? I am here. So there are success stories. There's some mega success stories. But all these, like, we're talking about like a very wide spectrum. It depends on. I think a big part of it is dependent upon where you are in the world. And so, depending on where you are in the world, a lot of work in overall remains to be done. And yeah, I just wish that there was more understanding, and let's not be hypocritical about this. So I'll even going back 10, 11, 12 years, I have said some mean things to somebody else, and I'm sorry for those things. Obviously, as is evident, these were just my insecurities that I didn't have a good way of making sense out of, and instead of dealing with the things in my mind in a rational, calm manner, I chose to be mean about what I said, and to those individuals, which fortunately are few and far in between. I think in my lifetime, it's probably 2 individuals, and I wasn't like toxically bad. I think in one situation I was pretty bad, but the first situation was when I was new to Canada, and I've spoken about this in the past, at least with individuals that I know. There was this one gay guy I used to work with, and I just treated him differently. I didn't treat him the same way as everybody else, and I guess unconsciously or subconsciously, I had these memes in my mind whereby I was thinking, he's gay, oh, something must be wrong with him, like that kind of stuff. So, but like I said, I actually, within a span of the next couple of months, I educated myself on the topic. I wrangled with it in my mind, and one day I just went up to him and said, I'm sorry for treating you the way that I did. which wasn't like toxic, but I treated him differently. Like he would ask me a question, I was like, oh yeah, it's right there, kind of thing. Something like that. This goes back like 20 years ago. So I think there was a third person present when I offered that apology. But like I'm saying, I chose to change my mind, and I didn't wait the next 5-6 years to do that. But clearly, there was a lot more work to be done because, like I said, even just going back 10 years, I was mean to somebody, and that was very wrong. And so I apologized. And little did I know that there's going to be all these things I would have to make sense out of myself. So I'm sharing something a lot very deep and personal, and I'm not gonna share all the details, but it has been a challenge to deal with these thoughts, particularly because there's all of these pressures to be a certain way, and I think from the background I come from, which is not a broad brushstroke. There's a brush here, actually. That's a big brush. Broad brushstroke. So, no, in all seriousness, it's just my personal experiences based on, from a relational psychology perspective. Your psychology is fashion because of the people that are around you. So yeah, I've just gotten these signals from my surroundings, my environment, that being anything other than you were born a male, so you should act like a male, and you were born, I'm not going to bring religion into this, or you were born, you are heterosexual, anything contrary is really bad. I get these signals, and they are very, I think they're very, they're veiled. They're not, sometimes they're very, very direct. And I've shared that example in terms of the threats and whatnot, which fortunately have been very few and far in between. But I take those things very seriously. Because that's not the conditions or environment I want to live in. Those are not the environment I would want my children to live in. When they're consenting, consensual adults, when they grow up in the world, they can be whoever they want to be, and they can be with whoever they want to be, provided that, Anyway, so that parenting is a different conversation. But yeah, it's been a challenge. Even though I live in Canada, and it's a very progressive place, but it's just the I guess there's the sub communities, and I try to distance myself as much, but yeah. Anyways, so. This is a complex topic which I have explored and will probably continue exploring with the help of mental health practitioners. I was very fortunate that my practitioners have been allies, and they're very strong allies for individuals who are either on the spectrum or are allies themselves, obviously. So yeah, the other thing I want to talk about is, we think like 100% you are, so let's consider my example. If I am dressing and behaving this way, and I don't really like the traditional things like males do, then does that mean that I am 5% feminine, 1%, 15%? I don't know what that means, right? And if I have, I think I'm not gonna get into the physiological side of things, but one day I'm more masculine and the other day I'm more feminine. So how is that fluctuating for me? Um, Same with things like sexuality. Uh, which I'm not gonna get into the specifics here because I didn't think I was gonna talk about all these things. I just wanted this to be on topic with regards to the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. Uh, but I think this is an important thing. Um, going back to what I said earlier, I think these things are largely made up, and I think a lot of humans suppress this part of their psyche, and I think the world would be a better place if men acted a little feminine at times and women were allowed the same rights all over. Because I don't know a lot about the history of feminism, but obviously there has been things were quite different. And it depends which slice of time you're looking at and which civilization. But women could not vote, like in a Western context. Women could not vote going back a couple hundred years, or maybe not even that. And so a lot of gains have been met, but still it's very much a male-dominated world. And I think because our brain is so similar to the chimpanzees, it's the same primate behavior. A group of guys kind of get together and they form this tight-knit thing, and then things happen, whatever happens. But I think we, like, as a species, we try to control women, and that creates suffering for women. But it also, there's I don't I'm very well versed in this topic, but there's also this raising children and childbearing. Do women actually want to be billionaires? So these are all good questions. I don't have answers to that, but I think there are a lot of barriers towards women advancing, and I started sympathizing with this a lot more for two reasons, or three reasons. One, because it's the right thing to do in random order. Secondly, because my daughter is going to grow up one day, so I don't want her to grow up in a society whereby she's told that your career prospects are limited because that's what you should do. You should go somewhere in knitting, or you know what I mean, like a very gender-based kind of role. And thirdly, just because of, like I said, random order, because of if 15, 20, or high percent of me is actually feminine, then I I want to live a good life. You know me, and I want everyone who is like me to live a good life. And I don't want us to be pushed into. I don't want to be a. I don't think I want to be a clothes designer or go design shoes, or some kind of a traditional role, somebody who isn't exactly conforming to the kind of like the mold would do. So yeah, these are my thoughts on this topic. I may have to say more on this, but may there be peace and understanding on our planet. May we just accept each other for who we are instead of being mean or toxic. There's a lot of darkness on our planet, of different types, not just people being mean to somebody else because of their gender or sexuality. there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I'm just being myself right now. This is who I am. Uh, Once I make this video, I'm gonna wash my face because I'm gonna go see my parents. I live in their house, and they're gonna freak out if they saw me like this. They're probably gonna see this on YouTube at some point. So, mom and dad, I don't do this to make you guys angry. This is just who I am, or whoever else I've grown up with. And you guys need to accept me for who I am, and that's it. Maybe things are gonna be fine. Another thing I get a fair bit. Let me think about this if I want to talk about this right after. I'm not religious. I have to share this. I don't believe in a traditional Abrahamic God. I have no aspiration to convert to Christianity, Judaism, Islam. I've thought of exploring other religions, but that's only to experience the culture. And in all likelihood, I don't think I want to convert to an Abrahamic religion. I'm not saying that to make the religions look bad. I am saying that specifically because the people I've grown up with, and again, this is not a broad brushstroke, this is just my personal experiences based on the 15 or 20 or more or less people I've interacted with ever since I've been conscious, aged, whatever and up. I get this sense that the values are forced down, and I actually sometimes do this as a or if I haven't done this as I may still be doing this as a kind of like a action and response kind of thing. But I feel like the values are pushed down on you, like you've got to conform and behave, and if you don't, then there's going to be some consequences. Obviously, this cannot be done. This is just my perception, so I could be totally wrong about this. And if you don't do that, then there's stuff happens. Let's put it that way, without going into all the details. And my way of pushing back is to ask, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about Raif Badawi, or what do you think about the war that's happening in the Middle East? And I think that's what's going on, but I want answers to those questions anyways. But yeah, I just have to state very explicitly that I am not religious. So nobody should be coming up to me and telling me what to do. That's another thing that's happened to me, is individuals that I've grown up with have messaged me and told me that I will always be X. And when I confronted them, they said they didn't do this. So it was a denial, and then they said, well, my account must have gotten hacked. So anyways, so I just want to live my life. People that I may have grown up with, but now I talk to them like once every 3 years. I don't need messages from you to tell me what to do, who to be. Please just take care of yourself and take care of your family, and just let me be. Okay. So yeah, this is my message for the International Day against homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia. I would say gender phobia as well, or people like me who don't necessarily fit into one of these categories. We're getting a little mathematical here, but International Day against doing something not so good to people who are a little different, and I think I'm one of those individuals, and if you have questions, I think you should engage me in a one-on-one sense, within reason. Depends what your state of mind is and what kind of questions you have. If you have chronic questions, you should talk to a mental health practitioner, and I'm not saying that to you in a negative sense. I'm being very serious about that. If you have some chronic issue or suppressed memories, you should definitely talk to a mental health practitioner, not to somebody like me. But if you just want to understand like who I am, how I look at the world, and I'm just a human being. I want the same things as anybody else. I want to live a good life. I want to have a shelter. I want to have my needs met on a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I want to spend time with my family. Obviously, I gotta have all those. Like, I have to have the base and be able to meet my finances for me being able to enjoy my life with my family. I want to find a good partner to be with. So just simple things. We have categorized some audacious goals. I have no desire to. These first, it's me. I have to be in good health, and good things are constantly happening to me on a daily basis. Because a big part of life is to maintain that positive mindset. Where's my gratitude journal? And this is going a little off topic, but I do a lot of work to maintain a positive mindset, because I have been on the other end of the spectrum, on the downward spiral, and let me show you, that's not a good place to be in. So having hit those having hit that bottoms, I just do a lot of work on myself, and basically what I'm saying is that life is what you make of it. So this is starting to go on, and like, it is obviously not scripted. I just share my experiences. I think, like, what I'm trying to say is, stop trying to change others. Just change yourself. Stop making problems in other people's lives. And maybe I gotta do a little bit of that as well. But I don't do this to, I don't think I do a lot of this, if at all. And so that's one thing. And the other thing I was sharing is, I lost my train of thought. This is important. Hold on. Now I'm thinking about the cosmetics in front of me. Yeah, just live and let live, man. Just live and let live. This is not a big deal. We're gonna, 25, 50, 30 years down, the road, we're gonna look back and say we used to treat humans like this because they just put on a little bit of powder on their face. Are you kidding me? Wow. So, or whatever they choose to do on their own free time. Like, whose moral authority is it? So that's why I'm being very clear and very, very, very clear that I do not belong to a particular group or ethnicity or way of thinking. I am who I am. If you have questions, just for curiosity's sake, then you can engage with me on a one-on-one basis. Even, and not just me, anyone who isn't necessarily somewhere on the is either on the spectrum, on the queer spectrum, which is a broad spectrum, or is an ally, which I might as well. I may be an ally, or I may be on the spectrum. Like, I'll be very open and honest in this video. So yeah, just conversation, engage with them, and when you engage with the individual, ask questions. Don't assume. Don't project your values on somebody like that. You gotta ask them how they look at the world. Because somebody in the family I was born in, their belief is that everyone who's gay is going to go to heaven and they're going to burn there for eternity. Well, I don't believe in this concept of heaven and hell anyways. I'm an atheist. So, it's the rational and human thing for somebody to do would be to ask me how I look at reality, first of all, rather than project their values on me and constantly tell me that there's something wrong with me, and if I don't change my ways, I'm going to burn in hell. And if I don't, then something happens, right? There's some body language issue, you're treated differently, a lot more differently, things like that. So yeah, this is the this is it, and this is who I am. This is who I am. I am not gonna delete this video like I did the previous one. There was a lot of it's been challenging, let's put it that way. But it's also been educational from the perspective that I also had to change my views on some things, not a lot of things, some things, a lot of which I probably shared all of it. I'm very open and honest about these things, but this is obviously just the. I'm not gonna talk about suffering and all that stuff, but it's been challenging. Like it's tough to. It's really difficult to. Be yourself in certain situations because there's a lot of fear, without getting into a lot of details. Just think about it this way: people get killed in the world for being who they are, and this is not, this may happen more in other parts of the world versus North America, but how should I say this? That feeling, you still feel it on some lesser level. I don't know what percentage. So let's just talk about this because this is very important as well. You're made to feel there's something really wrong, and that's like the most difficult thing to deal with, because you grow up with certain individuals or even work with certain individuals, and this is not specific to culture, race or ethnicity or anything like that, and then you're like, I'm like this, and then then you just hear, oh no, we don't approve of it. I'm not using this as a metaphor. And what you have to do is, in your mind, because relationships are such a big part of your mind, you have to basically create a new mind, because you are who you are, and if those who are around you do not approve of it because of whatever reason, then you only have one choice, which is to either be yourself, I don't know where to be, either be yourself or conform, and I don't think that's a way of living. You're not being authentic if you just conform because you continue to now in this middle part, which I was talking about, which I've been in the past couple of years, you get like, it's like all of those things kind of kick in. Like there's anger, there's threats of other things, there's like separation from the perspective, if you don't change then you want to spend less time, stuff like that, or you do that as well because you get threats. And it's quite challenging because you need to, it's nothing personal, it's just that there's like a lot of things, like another person who has actually been very helpful to me. Oh, Kabir was going to go to sleep. In Canada, uh, you know, they would come over and they would try to make you feel like, hijra or transgender is something really bad. And then a group of people will get together and they would make transgender jokes. You're not part of that conversation. You're like around. You're not part of that conversation, but they're trying to like they're trying to like they're trying to like be like what's it say? They're trying to be witty or sarcastic, but they don't realize it's hurting somebody else's feelings. So then, when this happens more than a couple of times, then at that time, this is not this is not like random, because the probability of something like that happening on a random basis is quite low. It's like, what is the probability that amongst all the topics in the world, a group of people would talk about that? And this is the challenge, because somebody like, and there are other things obviously as well. Anyways, I don't want to talk about all that. This has become quite a longer video. This is who I am, okay? My name is Adil. This is who I am. I don't care. This is who I am. I'm beautiful. I'm amazing. I like myself. And this is how I behave. This is how I dress. I'm still single. I'm 42 years old. I'm in really good shape for 42 because I take care of myself. I want to live a really long, healthy life. Okay? And may good things happen to me now and in the future, because I'm a really good person and I have good values. I'm constantly improving myself. I'm constantly upgrading myself. I'm learning new things. I assist my friends to the best of my ability. I assist good projects in the world. Even if it's just making a video about it, you can do that project for an hour or two more. I believe in a world where you can be whoever you want to be, within reason. I also believe in a world where I think I went through a tough time because of who I am. And I believe in a world where we treat people with compassion, starting with myself, because sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I can be pretty harsh, as somebody has noticed, but I only do that in situations whereby I've given somebody a lot of my time and I'm not seeing the results. Anyways, that's a different topic. What I'm saying is, I believe that every human life is precious, and that we should talk to each other if we have questions. And talking is the way to understanding. And I have changed my opinions on a lot of issues. A number of issues, not a lot. I don't know what, but I think this ability to be able to change your mind is very important, because if you cannot empathize with somebody, then I think it's progressively difficult for that individual to be able to do something in this world, something good, something that is going to have a positive impact. And we have a complex series of problems on our planet, and I don't think we're going to get traction by taking very hard lines and stance on a lot of things within reason. When somebody is doing something illegal, immoral, in the sense that we are reasoning based on first principles, not reasoning based on what a lot of people may, in that specific sphere, may believe, then those kind of things, we're getting into some abstract territory. So I gotta think about. I gotta be careful with choosing my word, not to give the wrong impression. But basically, what I'm saying is, this is a different topic. But reason, using first principles and reason, I think there's also should be an element of humanism in there. Basically, what I'm saying is talk to humans. Talk to humans. Have a open mind for communications, because anyone can change, right? So I should give credit where it's due. Somebody who has been close to me, when I reconnected with them all these years, I did ask them, like, did you send this message? They said no, my account got hacked. But then when I connected with them again after having done that, this said to me, who you are as a person is your business. And I started seeing that shift in this person, and I said, maybe this is a change, right? And if I didn't talk to this person again, this individual, then I would not have known. So I think, and I changed, I changed my stance on a lot of issues. Obviously, I grew up in, I can stop saying that because it may make it seem like that's a bad thing, which is not what I mean at all. But there were these memes I grew up with, but when I came to Canada, I questioned those memes, and I didn't, like I said, spend 6-7 years doing so. I took action, and I changed my stance on gay rights within the first couple of years. I changed my stance on a lot of other, not a lot, but some core pivotal issues. The key thing is I reached out and I got out of the house and I saw the people directly. I spent time with them in a one-on-one time frame, which is a little bit of a challenge right now. I was thinking about this. COVID is making this difficult because, the media, this thing, if we just do this exclusively, it can warp our minds because this is not the indicative of what's really going on in reality. This is reality coming to us through a very kind of limited sphere, and it can be manipulated without going into that detail of I don't want to get into that detail of data and you sharing your data openly. And anyways, so when you spend time with humans one-on-one, you realize that humans, regardless of what background they are, we're all the same. We all love our families. We all love ourselves. Or we should be. We all want the same things. We want to be loved and accepted. We want to have shelter. We want to eat good food. We want to exercise. And we want to relax. Learn new things. We want to do good things. And I think the distortion, for lack of a better word, is caused because I don't know. What I'm saying is just accept people for who they are. This is who I am. I like myself. And somebody's gonna teach me how to do makeup better. And I'm beautiful, I'm wonderful, I'm handsome, I'm pretty, I'm all of these things. And somebody on my team may be watching this too, so maybe this is a little bit of a shock to those individuals. Please don't let it be. This is who I am. I am the same person. I'm a very professional person. So at work, I am, I may come to work like this, or I may come to work in a manner where I'm looking, it's okay. It's fine. We have work to do. We have things to tackle. We have to improve our lives. We have to improve our lives and other lives. First, we have to improve our lives. We cannot be in survival mode and helping solve the world's problems. So, yeah, let's stay focused on the goals. My intention was not to talk about my team right now, but my team is important to me. I think about the individuals on my team. I think about what they're eating. And think about the pay. Our pay is not so great. I think about our finances. Think about all these things and more. And my team's in my thoughts. When I'm eating good food, when I'm making certain investments, and I'm like, should I really be doing this, or should I just invest all this money directly in my team? And I'm being very open and honest that this is going in a different direction. Well, basically what I'm saying is, to my team, this is who I am, and that's it. Okay. I don't know what else to say with that. So, what else? That's it. I think I've said everything. I feel so much better talking about the things that are on my mind. This is kind of like therapy. May there be true peace on our planet and true understanding. and may we have the capacity to be able to understand each other and accept each other, and may all of our good dreams come true and our world become a positive example for the many my daughter's messaging me. For the many species out there, potentially speaking. And yeah, I look so good. Thank you for watching. If you are an ally, reach out to me. It's so easy to find my contact. If you are struggling yourself, there's a lot of help available. There are mental health practitioners. You should talk to your doctor first, because I think that's the best thing to do. That's what I did. I spoke to doctors, and then I got a recommendation to talk to mental health practitioners. I also spoke to a psychiatrist, because one time I wasn't really sure what's going on, and I think now looking back in hindsight, I think that was a very healthy thing to do. I cut myself off from individuals who were making me feel a way that I didn't want to feel. I spoke to people who have been here. Actually, I didn't do a lot of that, but I kept an open mind. One time I remember. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. So reach out, talk, call the helplines, call the mental health practitioner. Start with your doctor first. Change your surroundings, change your situation. If you are in a situation where you are threatened for who you are, or even just made to feel a way you don't want to feel, change your surrounding. This brings up another challenge, particularly because for a big part of the world, that may not be possible, right? So this is the grand challenge. How do we enable such a world where this is a pretty big problem. I think overall, because I think that's going to require time on its own to tackle this on a societal level. I think the only way forward that I can think of is grassroots change. And I borrow this from Richard Tafel, who started an organization called Log Cabin Republicans, which is to basically advocate for the rights of individuals on the queer spectrum in predominantly Republican circles. But the way he does it is very, very empathetically. Goes door by door and engage in one-on-one conversations. So it's literally one drop in the bucket is how Tafel's strategy was structured. And there's a really good video I refer to as often. It's called The 5 Steps to Systems Change by Richard Tafel, which I must have seen at least a dozen times. And one of the things he talks about is embrace the system the way it is, which doesn't mean that you just accept the thing and be comfortable with it, but you have to accept the things the way they are for you to be able to reach out and talk to somebody, so that two individuals at the very least can connect with each other on a human level. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that one step out of the 5. What else? That's it. Thanks for watching. Happy International Day against homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, and people who are on some kind of spectrum like myself. Just be kind to others. Don't be mean. If you have a question, ask them. Don't make people who are not heterosexual or not don't necessarily ascribe to a gender-based model like myself. Don't make us feel bad about things, please. Don't be mean. And we all have to learn And overall, in the wider scheme of things, we all have to change how we look at the world and be more accepting. Because let's be honest, we all have our biases. There's no person on this planet that doesn't have a bias. And sometimes our biases, we need to challenge those biases, and the way you do that is by talking to the individual directly, within reason. Like, I'm not talking about extreme situations, but I think talking is the talk is the way to go forward. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna go wash my face now and go for a walk. And have a wonderful day. Bye now.